I don't think anybody could dismiss Donald Trump at this particular moment in time, not just because of him, but because of what we've seen the Democrats do. We're not falling for it any longer. The American people aren't falling for it any longer. I voted Democrat, and I got to tell you something right now. I don't like the fact that I did. I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't want to hear about, oh, we're about law, we're about a law. Nobody's above the law. Nobody's above the law. But then you go out and you pardon your son, and you try to blame everybody else for it. I don't want to hear about defund the police. I don't want to hear about, what there should be open borders. I don't want to hear this stuff. And I don't think most of the American people want to hear that. And I'm no longer interested in, nor do I believe any of us should be interested in listening to a bunch of fear mongering to tell us who we shouldn't vote for. Why don't you come up with a plan that tells us why we should vote for you?
What do you guys think? Give me your opinion.
Big bomb. Number one, I think a couple things that I see that he's talking about is, first of all, he's got a big following.
Yep.
Big following, and he also is speaking to the black vote.
Yep.
And what he saw with this election, this past election, is that it was a landslide victory.
Yeah.
America went one direction.
Yeah.
And he did not go with America. He's out of sync with where America's at. And so, yes, he's a Democrat, but people voted for Donald Trump. And he's listing some basic policies that Donald Trump is for.
Yep.
And so I think...
Basic stances that the Democratic Party should be for.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think what he's actually doing, he's speaking to his base that he's like, I'm back in sync with you. That's what I really see that he's actually doing, because he's actually up for get paid. His contract is coming up.
Yeah.
So, and he can do anything he wants. He could actually continue on with ESPN with a big contract, or he could go on his own, and he's kind of probably leveraging, let's see where I'm going to go in the future. But I think his voice does matter, not only in sports, but also with the black vote. And I also see, man, people got to get in sync with what America is actually standing for, wanting for. They don't want men and girls sports. They don't want not just open borders, but they don't want a whole bunch of things that Democrats were actually trying to give a bunch of people to vote for. People are not buying it. And that's what he's speaking about.
Yeah.
No, but they definitely, I think it's an important voice because of the black vote, but also it's like the NBA, literally we were talking about last episode, it's Democratic. So it's like the Democratic black vote. He's speaking to basketball fans, football fans. He's speaking to a ton of sports people. The first thing I thought was like, dude, this guy's an Enneagram 8 for sure. But I like how he's searching for truth, which I think is cool.
Yeah, I also think, in sports, a lot of them are Republicans. I mean,
really?
Yeah, people in sports. Like if you just watch UFC for example,
The guys who actually play the sport.
play the sports,
Oh, you're
or
talking
even
about, like,
watch
the
it,
play-
or even who watch it.
Yeah.
Let's just talk that for a second.
Audience, yeah.
Yeah. If you go to UFC fight, Donald Trump is coming in, and it is
It's a ruckus.
yes, they love him there. They love Donald Trump. I mean, the last one, it's like welcome home.
I think it was a Georgia game. They were going nuts.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if it's football, they love him. I mean, the quarterbacks are there. They love Donald Trump.
Well, and
Tom
even
Brady.
what I think about this clip, like Stephen A, he's always been like a wild, funny dude and super respected in this area. But I would say the reason why he's mad is not because I just think he feels like he got stabbed in the back. Like, probably because we all saw the reports of like, oh, Kamala was paying this celebrity $10 million to come on stage and do this, and
It's crazy.
pay this much money to do this. Like, I'm assuming all these guys on the big sports media things, and like Shannon Sharp did the interview with Kamala, like all this stuff, they were being told to pull their media cards for Kamala. But then it was like, you ran your campaign so bad, you lost in huge numbers.
Yeah.
And it was kind of embarrassing. So I think he's just more embarrassed of how the Democratic Party handled the election in whole. And he's kind of trying to retract and recoup his steps, because now everyone's like, oh, Trump is cool. Like the Trump dance is cool.
Yeah.
And it's like, now I'm not with the cool people. So he's kind of trying to retract so then people still see him in that light.
Also, 2020, the election from 2020 to 2023, 2024, Donald Trump almost doubled the black vote.
Yeah.
For Republicans.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, he increased in every single category.
I know.
Every category.
Latinos, but
Yeah.
I want to speak to that one because I actually think the black vote really matters and will matter long term, where the Democrats assumed that vote, I don't think they're going to be assuming that vote anymore. I think the guy have to go and earn it. He's getting in the boat with the cool crew.
Yeah, he's trying to get back in the boat because I felt like he used his media card, and then it was kind of embarrassing for him to use his media card when they got so embarrassed.
Right.
Like, I'm sure no one else is really going to say that. He's actually, like, it's honestly good on him for saying that he feels bad that he voted Democrat.
The thing about I've noticed with all these people that are now either regretting their vote or that are turning Republican is I feel like I don't notice them being like not Democratic anymore in these certain like core views, but I feel like they always say, like people like Tulsi Gabbard, RFK, where they feel like the Democratic Party left them rather than them leaving the Republican Party.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Where there was like, you go back to like the 60s and to like even the 2000s probably, the Democratic Party is completely different. It doesn't even look the same.
Yeah.
Where like you could easily have like a friend that could be Democrat and you guys are both Christian dudes.
Yeah.
And he could be a Democrat. You
Like,
could
it
be a
wasn't that
Republican.
polarizing.
It wasn't as,
So far away from each other's viewpoints.
it wasn't so
wasn't
opposite.
big
It's
moral
literally like
things.
black and white, exact opposite.
There were small issues in the policies. Now the Democrats went so far left, so far progressive, that I think people in America didn't want most of those things.
Yeah.
That's where things are at.
Yeah, for sure.